Adam, why'd you choose this movie?
It is a weird cult favorite now. Helpful, I guess, in further establishing S. Craig Zahler's, little niche fandom that I am strongly a part of at this point, because I love every single one of his films, tremendously. And I saw this movie, a couple years ago now. I was a big fan of Bone Tomahawk.
As was I.
I thought it was, pretty awesome. And I'm like, yo, who's this guy? And then I looked him up. He's just this author who makes weird pulpy novels. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so he just decided to start making movies all of a sudden. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to start watching his movies whenever they come out. And then this one came out. And I was like, oh, wow, this guy was tailor-made for me. This is so, grossly Adam, it's annoying. I could imagine some people not totally responding to it because it's so weird and different. I just, vibe with this movie so hard, though, man. It's just everything I want. It's just this weird homage to grindhouse films. And it
kind of comes out of the womb as a cult classic.
Yes, exactly. In ways that I did not expect. And on the lower end of the interesting stuff, just to start with the way Zahler does violence in his films. It's interesting. I could tell you what Tarantino violence is and what I don't know who's another good example.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, even maybe Martin Scorsese, I can kind of identify that violence. I couldn't tell you what Spielbergian violence really is or what Ridley Scott.
Well, there's not much of it.
Well, I know, but he does it occasionally. But same with Ridley Scott. I can't quite tell you what that is. Yeah. But I can definitely tell you what Zahler violence is like. Absolutely. And I just remember being like, oh my God, the way he shoots these scenes is so distinct and interesting and disturbing. I really respond to the way he shoots people getting hurt in a way that I've never quite felt before. It's just as realistic as it is artificial, and that's what kind of makes it a little more uncomfortable
and kind of funny
sometimes.
Yeah,
not all the time, but certainly sometimes.
Yeah.
This one blends those two in a very interesting way. But also I was like, okay, these are pulpy movies that have no right being as good as they are, but the scripts rock.
Yeah,
they're fucking good, man. They're just really, really, really
sometimes
good.
A bit overwritten, but in the way that you would that you want crime movies like this to be. Well,
in a movie like this where the lead character can rip off the hood of a car with pretty just casual ease.
Yeah.
It fits to me. I don't really mind if they want to be a little stylized with this type of screenwriting. It's also matched with just good craftsmanship. He's actually a really good filmmaker, or surprisingly patient filmmaker for how weird and pulpy his movies
definitely
are.
Patient, yeah.
It's really odd. It's this strange blending of elements that never come together with this type of genre. So I really appreciate it on that level. And finally, Vince Vaughn. I saw this movie. I like Vince Vaughn. I don't have an issue with him. I'm a little more warm to him than you are. I don't think he's like a great actor per se. But in every movie I've seen him in, I've enjoyed Vince Vaughn for what he was. But he's always playing Vince Vaughn.
Do you like when he goes dramatic? Generally, before you saw this.
Before I saw, I don't know if I had much of an opinion on him when he went dramatic.
Okay.
Had
you seen True Detective season 2?
No.
Okay, because he is atrociously bad in that movie.
Okay.
In that show.
Okay,
he's the worst part of that, and that was probably the first. Well, Psycho, obviously, the Psycho remake. He's not good in at all. And so, yeah, I guess what else has he done that's dramatic? I think lately he's gone for stuff that's not overtly dark and dramatic, but stuff that is maybe more adult.
I guess if it means anything, which I don't know if it does, but it's not a comical performance in The Lost World. It's a supporting guy who's kind of a nice presence.
Okay.
I wouldn't call him silly in that like he is in some of his other movies. But you're right. The point is he's far more tailor-made to be that interesting, funny guy.
Oh, I guess he was Hacksaw Ridge. He was in Hacksaw Ridge.
I like him in Hacksaw Ridge enough.
I think generally I didn't care for him in dramatic performances at all. Although I did like him in Dragged Across Concrete, which we can talk about a little later.
That comes afterwards. I think he's really, really good in Dragged Across Concrete, and I think he's really great as a dramatic actor in that. But also, Zahler knows how to use him.
This is I was gonna say though, like a low key great performance.
No, this is like
incredible.
It's more a feat of, I think, casting than it is acting at times.
And sometimes, yeah.
Because the thing about Vaughn, and you don't realize this in Wedding Crashers or even in something like Swingers, which is still a really good movie and a really good performance. He's like really fucking big.
He's massive, huge, and he's never utilized that way.
No, it's ridiculous that they haven't utilized him this way until this movie. This is the first time that like.
I could not tell a difference between. I could not tell a difference between Vince Vaughn and Kane from WWE. He's like.
He's a mountain.
In this movie, I could buy Vince Vaughn being in the MCU after watching this. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Dude, more than Paul Rudd.
He's 6'5". He's a fucking behemoth, this guy. And he's incredibly intimidating. And guys, this is like, in my opinion, his best performance.
Oh, I think it might be.
It's tremendous.
Oh, 100%.
I couldn't believe how good he was in this movie.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's never been part of the joke, though.
I know. Yeah.
Like, every Danny DeVito movie is about how short Danny DeVito is.
That's a good point, yeah.
No Vince Vaughn movies are about how tall Vince Vaughn is.
Yeah.
And this is finally a movie about just like his very imposing size.
Mm-hmm. I think, you know, the typical way they cast Vince Vaughn, his like type role or his typecast, is that the word, is like the average guy.
Yeah.
That's what it's always been.
He's
in
not
this,
that at all.
He's anything but.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
I just think it's a case of he's been cast poorly for a very long time. Like he was typecast in a certain type of role and it just didn't work.